Hey, what's up all you do-it-yourselfers? My name's Dylan Taylor, this is Dylan's DIY Workshop, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to prep a piece of wood for wood burning. Okay, so you might get wood that is like this, it's rough, or you might get wood that is smooth, and here's a piece of the same wood where it's smooth. Now, these are both walnut. You're more likely going to find other kinds of woods near you. The kinds of wood that I would suggest to wood burn on are number 1, cherry, number 2, maple, number 3 would be probably a pine that you can find. So those are the kinds of wood I would suggest to use. Today I'm going to be showing you how to prep from a rough piece of wood. This is a piece of walnut. You don't necessarily have to use walnut, just like I kind of said there. And I'm also going to show you guys how to prep a piece of dressed wood. So a piece of dressed wood, you can get a piece of dressed wood from a hardware store or from a sawmill where it's already smooth like this. But you can still see planer marks going across it, just very, very lightly. You can kind of see lines going straight across, and that's from the planer blades. So I'll show you how to get both of these surfaces ready for wood burning. So if you have a piece of wood that is rough, like this piece of walnut, basically what we need to do is get it to the dressed state. Now, if you have a planer or a jointer, both of those will work because you only really need one face for wood burning, so a jointer would work fine. And if you don't have that, you could use a belt sander, either a hand belt sander or a fixed belt sander or a disc sander, any kind of sanding apparatus. You could use that. That's basically what you need, is one smooth surface that looks like that, like the other dressed piece of wood. And if you don't have one of those, you could use an angle grinder with a flap disc that has sandpaper on it. You could use just about anything. And if you absolutely have none of that, you could just use hand sandpaper. And so basically pick the side that you want, whether it's the one that has less work to get it to where you need to be able to burn it, or whether it just looks better. And you're just going to take your sandpaper, and you're just going to go until it is smooth. So you can see how much of a difference that is, and I'm just going to leave the sides rough so that you can see how different this piece actually is. You want to get all of those little lines out of there, and that's what I'm about to do next. I'll just speed this whole bit up. There you go. So that is smooth, really smooth in the center. Now, some people would say you could just sand that to a little bit smoother, and then you'd be able to wood burn from there. And some people will say, hey, you could just wood burn just like that and it'll be fine. Now, what I'm gonna say is that's kind of true, and there's a better way of doing it. Take one of these, and if you have a card scraper, that you could use that too. But this is the inexpensive tool that anyone can go buy at the hardware store. You can buy 100 of them for like 10 bucks. It's just a box cutter blade. You want a new one. You don't want to use one that's got all these chips in it. Get a new one out of the box, and you're going to use it kind of like a card scraper. So if you could imagine that a card scraper works like this, that's how you're going to hold this. You're not going to be able to see it very well because it's in my hand, but this is how you get it really smooth, is you use a scraper of some sort. And so I like this because it doesn't leave sand marks at all. It gives you one really, really smooth surface. So it's just a little bit past 90 degrees where you're going. So 90 degrees, tip it back a little bit, and you can pull or push whichever way it seems to be taking it off better. And so that gets it really smooth. Really, really smooth. And that is what you want to wood burn off of. So if you've sent a piece of wood through the planer, like say this big piece of cherry we have, and your planer's got notches in it, it'll leave little lines that go all the way along the length of the board, and those lines are because there's a chip in the blade of your planer. That's another thing that this is great for getting rid of. And it does not take very many passes. You end up with little tiny pieces like this, and it's gone. It's really smooth. So this surface is ready for wood burning right here, and you can just go ahead and you can draw on whatever you need to draw on, or just go to town and wood burn just like that. That's how you prep a surface for wood burning if it's rough. Now, if it's already dressed lumber and you've got it from the store, I would suggest that you don't even attempt to use sandpaper, because all that's going to do is put a bunch of scratches in the surface of the wood, and it's going to take you even longer to use this. Got a piece of dressed wood, it's going to come right out of the planer, and it's going to have like the little baby lines, and some people don't have an issue with that, but if you do, what you want to do is get rid of it by scraping the surface. It's really hard for you guys to see these little tiny lines, but imagine that there's little tiny lines from the planer chopping away. That's what you want to get rid of by running this down the length of it. And so it'll get rid of all these little ridges that are going to be a pain when burning. Not necessarily drawing your lines, but when you're shading, a difference in the surface can make it detrimental, and you end up with the wrong shade. It gets too dark in an area, and you don't want that. So this specific piece of cherry right here that I'm preparing is going to be one which you guys will see in a couple videos this next month. Because in the month of November, I will be making a new video every single day for this channel. It's part of Javi's challenge from Javi's Woodshop. The Almost Impossible challenge is where you have to make a new video every single day for the month of November, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for a lot of makers. I'd like to see who else is actually participating in this. Good luck to everyone else who is part of it, but this is my first video in that month. And I also have something very special planned for this piece of wood, and you're all going to love it. Also, some people from the Making It podcast might enjoy this. So, this piece of wood is probably the last big plaque that I'm making for 2017. I made two this year. I made the Lamborghini for Tanner Brongart, which is still in his vlogs, almost every single one of his vlogs it shows up in. And then also the Audi R8 plaque for Tanner Brongart. He hasn't opened it yet. And then this picture of Jimmy DiResta with the AK-47 guitar, I wood burned him on a piece of cherry, sent it to him, he loved that. And then one more really small plaque for Tanner Fox, and it was with him and his FRS, and then his logo, T-Fox brand. So this is going to be the last big one for 2017, I believe. I might do another small one of a person, depending on how that goes. But this is going to be the last big plaque of 2017. Look forward to that. I hope you guys learned something new today, and the tool that you guys want to get, I lost it. How did I lose a blade? That's not good. Did I drop it? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so I just lost this. Don't lose your blades because you don't want to find them in weird places or step on them. So the thing that we learned today is to use a X-Acto blade as a card scraper to make the surface of your wood very smooth to start wood burning on. The smoother you get it and all the lines that you can get rid of, the better it ends up turning out. You can use sandpaper, but it's not going to give you a very, very shiny finish that's super smooth like this is going to. Because with sandpaper, you got different parts of your fingers pressing down on the wood, or if you're using a sanding block, it might work better, but you're going to have to go through all the grits to get there. Whereas this, it's going to cut no matter what, and then it's going to just cut flat. So this is by far the fastest and easiest way to do it. Like I said, if you guys have a card scraper, go ahead and use your card scraper. I do have one, but I never use it. I always use one of these. If you want to get a card scraper, it does sometimes work better, but I find for the having to sharpen it and everything, it's not worth it for me. I just use those because they're replaceable very easily. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you guys are new, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please share this video with a friend. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. We'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.